bum. What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously once again. I am back for my Week 14 NFL predictions. Now, Week 13 just ended with the Pittsburgh Steelers defeating the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football tonight. So our record, finishing up a pretty solid Week 13, was 10-6. So it's another winning week for NFL predictions on this channel. I'm very happy for that. We had a few big upsets in Week 13, which I will be talking about in this video. But we're now on a 7-week winning streak since our last losing record, which was in Week 6. So we have been killing it since Week 6. So we're at 7. Hopefully in this video, we'll make it 8. Now, before I begin, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching all the videos up until this point on the channel, especially last week's NFL predictions. You guys blew up that video with over 473 plus views. You guys super kicked that like button 15 times, and we had over 45 plus comments from you fantastic NFL football fans representing your team, representing your picks, and representing your opinions on everything that is the NFL season and getting closer to the NFL playoffs. So I do want to thank you guys so very much for doing that, and hopefully in this video you guys will do the same by showing your love by watching the video, super kicking that like button, and commenting your picks, your opinions, and your representing your teams in the comment section down below. Now, if you have not checked out my college football bowl predictions on the channel yet, definitely go check that out. It is the longest video I've ever done on the channel, over 40 plus minutes. But if you're a huge college football fan like myself, definitely go watch that, and also go watch my college football playoff semifinals and final predictions, and you'll find out who I'm picking to win this year's college football playoff national championship. So if you have not checked those videos out, take it from me, if you're a college football fan, definitely watch those two videos if you have the time. Now, we are at 250 plus subscribers now on the channel, so I do want to thank you guys so very much for supporting the channel. To new subscribers and guys for super kicking that subscribe button, and welcome to the Dangerous Lines. It is great to have you guys here. And to my longtime subscribers and guys for sticking around, supporting this channel, and as always, killing it. Now, this is your first time watching my channel as a first time viewer, and this is your first video. Welcome to the Dangerous Lines. I am JT Dangerously, and welcome to the club, because this club is just to whoop whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these NFL predictions. Now, let's start off on Thursday Night Football, and we got a really good Thursday Night Football game this week. It is an NFC South showdown featuring the red-hot New Orleans Saints heading to the Georgia Dome to face the Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, this is the battle of the two best running tandems in the NFC right now. Of course, starting off with New Orleans, they're coming off a big win at home over the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. Drew Brees had a pretty solid game, but it was all about their running game. The dynamic duo of Alvin Kamara, who I think will win Rookie of the Year, and the former Heisman Trophy winner out of Alabama, Mark Ingram. Coming from me, they're maybe the best dynamic duo running backs in the NFC right now. Again, there's some great dynamic duo running backs in the NFC, like Ajayi and Blunt, Coleman and Freeman, but Kamara and Ingram are maybe the two best dynamic duos in the running back position. And New Orleans is looking to continue the winning ways and continue dominating the NFC South. Then on the other side, you have the Atlanta Falcons. Are coming off a very tough loss at home to the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. They were just shut down by a very good Minnesota Vikings team. Julio Jones was shut down for sure after that 200-yard game he had the week before. But the good news is that Devontae Freeman came back from the concussion, so it's now Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman, their dynamic duo at running back. So this is going to be a fantastic Thursday night game, and I'm very excited to watch this game. So coming from me in this NFC South showdown on Thursday night, I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints, the red-hot New Orleans Saints, to defeat the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday Night Football. And now the Sunday slate, starting off with the Indianapolis Colts heading to Orchard Park to face the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Indianapolis Colts are coming off another loss on Sunday to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, this is a lost season for sure for the Colts because Andrew Luck is not playing for them. He's going to be playing next season. Jacoby Brissett did not have his best game. I think it was a touchdown and 2 picks. The only bright side was Frank Gore did pass Jerome Bettis in rushing yards. So congratulations to Frank the Tank for continuing to still play. Even at his age, he is still killing it at the running back position for the Colts. And the Colts are just looking to play spoiler to any wild card teams that are looking to get into the AFC playoffs. Then on the other side, you have the Buffalo Bills are coming off a very tough loss to my New England Patriots on Sunday. Tyrod Taylor did get hurt in that game, but they're saying it was Achilles patella bruise. It's not a complete tear of his patella tendon. It's just a bruise. So if you have Tyrod Taylor on your fantasy team, definitely keep an eye on him throughout game time to see if he's going to play. They may start Nathan Peterman, which could be just a disaster for the Bills. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills to defeat the Indianapolis Colts. And now the next matchup. It is the Detroit Lions heading to Tampa to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now the Detroit Lions are coming off a blowout loss on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. They just got spanked by that Baltimore defense, and surprisingly, the Baltimore offense actually woke up in that game. Matthew Stafford did not have his best game. Amir Abdullah did not play in that game, and Stafford did got his hand stepped on by Terrell Suggs, so we don't know if he's going to be able to be playing in this game with maybe a cast on his hand or it's no structural damage. So that's a sigh of relief for if you're a Detroit Lions fan. And Detroit is looking to continue to try to get into the wild card race and try to maybe catch up to the red-hot Vikings. Then on the other side, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who are coming off a very tough loss on the road in overtime to the Green Bay Packers. Jameis Winston did come back for the Buccaneers, which was a good sign. Cameron Brate had 2 big-time touchdowns, even a one-handed catch to start the game, which was amazing. But they just fell short again. This is another team this season has just not been their year, and they're just looking to get better next season. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to rebound and bounce back and defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And now the next matchup. It is an AFC West showdown featuring the Oakland Raiders heading to Arrowhead to face the slumping Kansas City Chiefs. Now the Oakland Raiders are coming off a big win at home over the lowly New York Giants. Derek Carr had a pretty solid game. Marshawn Lynch had his first 100-yard game since he's been back in the NFL, so beast mode finally woke up for the Raiders, and they're looking to maybe put even more woes on this struggling Kansas City Chiefs team. Then on the other side, you have the Kansas City Chiefs who are coming off another loss, their seventh loss of the season. They've lost 6 of 7 games. I mean, it's shocking that this team who beat my Patriots in Week 1 have fallen this much in the AFC West. They've lost to the Giants and the Jets this season, so that's saying a lot. Now, here's a dangerous fact. The Kansas City Chiefs are the 3rd team in NFL history to lose 6 out of the 7 games after starting 5-0 to start the season. That's insane that this team was so good in the beginning and now they're just falling apart at the seams in the second half of the season when they really need to continue to win. Even in that game, Alex Smith had his best game, but their defense fucked them. Kelsey had a great game. Tyreek Hill had also a big-time game, but their defense fucked them in the end. And again, this Kansas City Chiefs team needs help because coming from me, I don't see them winning the West right now. I see the Los Angeles Chargers actually winning the West. It's a complete roller coaster in the AFC West. Chiefs are going down, Chargers are going up, and the Raiders are in the middle. So coming from me in this AFC West showdown, this one's tough. I'm going to take the Oakland Raiders to get a big AFC West win over the Kansas City Chiefs in a close matchup. And now the next matchup. It is, of course, my second favorite team, my Seattle Seahawks, heading to Saxonville to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Seattle Seahawks are coming off a huge upset win on Sunday Night Football over the Philadelphia Eagles. One of the big upsets that happened in Week 13. Russell Wilson once again had a huge game. The magician himself found a way to get out of every little sack that Philadelphia was trying to get. Jimmy Graham had a touchdown in that game, and their defense, even without 2/3 of the Legion of Boom, they stuffed the red hot Eagles on Sunday night. And coming from me, when it comes to the MVP race, it's Carson Wentz, Tom Brady, and Russell Wilson coming from me. And again, I picked against Seattle last week. That's going to be the last time I'm going to pick against the Seahawks because I didn't even expect Seattle to beat Philadelphia, but they got it done, and they're now getting closer to the NFC West title if they can beat the Rams next week. So then on the other side, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming off another big win on Sunday over the Indianapolis Colts. Jacksonville was in full effect. They got to Jacoby Brissett multiple times. Blake Bortles had a big time game. Leonard Fournette had another rushing touchdown. Leonard Fournette's been one heck of a asset to the Jacksonville Jaguars this season, and their defense with Calais Campbell, Paul Posluszny. They have just a damn good defense this season. So coming from me in this really good matchup, I'm going to go with my Seattle Seahawks to continue the winning ways and defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now the next matchup. It is the San Francisco 49ers heading to Reliance Stadium to face the Houston Texans. Now the San Francisco 49ers are coming off a big win on the road over the Chicago Bears in Jimmy Garoppolo's first career start. He didn't look too bad. I know he did have one pick, but he looked good and he got him down the field and gave Robbie Gould the chance to win the game for them. And the Niners got the win with 5 field goals from Robbie Gould, the former Chicago Bear, which is even more ironic. Now, coming from me, I think the 49ers have their quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo watched them at New England. Even though it was only a few games, I think they have their starting quarterback. I think they should stick with him until the end of the season, and then next season add some weapons, and maybe they'll be a threat in the NFC West. Then on the other side, you have the Houston Texans, who are coming off a very tough loss to the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. Tom Savage had a couple troubles in that game. DeAndre Hopkins had a touchdown reverse, which, again, the referees are finding ways to cause fantasy owners who have DeAndre Hopkins. And they're just looking to try to keep pace with all the teams in a very good AFC South standings. So coming from me in this matchup, this is definitely Jimmy Garoppolo's toughest game because you got to go against Jadeveon Clowney and that Houston defense. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Houston Texans to defeat the San Francisco 49ers. And now the next matchup, it is the Green Bay Packers heading to Cleveland to face the winless Cleveland Browns. Now the Green Bay Packers are coming off a big win in overtime at home over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brett Hundley had another solid game, but there is some good news for you Cheeseheads fans. I have heard that Aaron Rodgers is practicing, so they may have Aaron Rodgers back maybe next week or the week after that. So that is some good news for you Packers fans who thought Aaron Rodgers was done for the season. He is practicing, and we'll know maybe by next week or the week after if he's going to be able to play the last couple games for the Packers and maybe get them into the wild card spot in the NFC. Then on the other side, you have the winless Browns are coming off another tough loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. Again, they're winless. They're 0-12. I think they're 0-13 or 0-12 or 0-13. But again, this is another team that's just playing to maybe get their first win or go 0-16. So coming from me in this matchup now, do I see Cleveland winning their first game of the season here? No. I am taking the Green Bay Packers to defeat the winless Cleveland Browns and keep them winless. And now the next matchup. It is the Chicago Bears heading to Cincinnati to face the Cincinnati Bengals. Now the Chicago Bears are coming off a very tough loss to the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. Mitchell Trubisky had a pretty solid game, even though it was another loss. Again, this team just needs a lot more help, and off-season they're gonna have to get some big-time players. Kyle Fuller did get the lone interception from Jimmy Garoppolo in that game, but again, Chicago has their future quarterback in Mitchell Trubisky, but they just need some weapons. I mean, they do have Jordan Howard and Talik Cohen, who did have a punt return touchdown in that game, but they need more on the wide receivers and the defense. And if they can do that, they can be a legitimate threat next season in the NFC North. Then on the other side, you have the Cincinnati Bengals, who are just coming off a very tough loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football, but they nearly had that game. They were up 20 to 30. They were up 20 to 10 in the fourth quarter, and then they just fell short to a very good Pittsburgh Steelers team. Andy Dalton had a big time game with 2 touchdowns. AJ Green had 2 touchdowns and over 70 plus yards. So they're getting better. The Bengals looked good in that game, but they just fell short to a better team. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Cincinnati Bengals to defeat the Chicago Bears. And now the next matchup, it is the red-hot Minnesota Vikings heading to Charlotte to face the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Minnesota Vikings are coming off a big win over the Atlanta Falcons on the road on Sunday. Case Keenum, once again, has been putting this team on his back. Got another big-time win for him. Latavius Murray had a great game on the ground. 2 touchdowns to Kyle Rudolph, their clutch tight end. Their defense stuffed most of Atlanta's offense, especially Julio Jones. And this Minnesota Vikings team is something to behold. I haven't seen this team be this good since the Chris Carter, the Randy Moss Minnesota Vikings, Dennis Green's Vikings. So it's great to see a team that was good so many years ago to be this good now. So I'm very happy to see that. I'm very happy for Case Keenum as well. And they're looking to continue the winning ways in the NFC. Then on the other side, you have the Carolina Panthers coming off a very tough loss to the New Orleans Saints on Sunday. Greg Olsen did not play in that game. Christian McCaffrey did have a pretty solid game. Devin Funchess did have a pretty solid game, but they just fell short to a very good New Orleans Saints team this season. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take the red-hot Minnesota Vikings to continue the winning ways and defeat the Carolina Panthers. And now the next matchup, it is the Washington Redskins heading to Los Angeles to face the red-hot Los Angeles Chargers. Now the Washington Redskins are coming off a blowout loss on Thursday Night Football over the Dallas Cowboys. They just did not look good. Another team that's just looking to play spoiler on any NFC teams that's trying to get into the wild card. Kirk Cousins definitely is going to need some help. If he stays, I wouldn't be surprised he goes. But the Redskins are definitely slumping at the wrong time. But they're very inconsistent. 1 week they win, 1 week they lose. So it's a very tough. It's always hard to pick with Washington this season. Then on the other side, you have the red-hot Chargers who are coming off a big win over the winless Browns at home on Sunday. Phillip Rivers is doing some amazing things in Los Angeles. I mean, Keenan Allen's having a great year. Their defense with Joey Bosa Jr., Melvin Gordon is finally getting those numbers that he was getting in college. And this Chargers team, coming from me, I'm still sticking with them to win the AFC West because they're on the rise, and the Chiefs are slowly declining as we speak. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Los Angeles Chargers to defeat the Washington Redskins. And now the next matchup, it is the New York Jets heading to Mile High to face the Denver Broncos. Now the New York Jets are coming off a huge upset win at home over the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. Josh McCown had another big-time game. Robbie Anderson, the guy I couldn't remember his name, but Robbie Anderson had a pretty solid game. Jermaine Kearse had a good big-time game for the Jets. And this Jets team is something this year. And I'm not a big-time Jets fan, but this Jets team is always in a matchup. Even though they're down, they find a way to win, and they got a big win over a very deflated Kansas City Chiefs team. Then on the other side, you have the Denver Broncos, and talk about deflated. This team has just got blown out by the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. This season has just been a bust for the Broncos, and again, you still have Brock Osweiler, which, again, that's maybe the sole reason they're just terrible. Trevor Siemian, they're just looking to play spoiler to any AFC team that's trying to get into the wild card. So coming from me, I'm going to take the red-hot Jets to defeat the Denver Broncos. And now the next matchup, it is the Tennessee Titans heading to Glendale to face the Arizona Cardinals. Now the Tennessee Titans are coming off a big win over the Houston Texans on Sunday. Marcus Mariota had a big-time game. Derrick Henry on the ground had over 100 yards and a 76-yard touchdown in that game. Delaney Walker, another clutch tight end that should be picked up in fantasy, had a big-time game, and their defense stepped up against a very good Houston team. And they're looking to continue the winning ways in the AFC South. The AFC South leading Tennessee Titans. Then on the other side, you have the Arizona Cardinals, who are coming off a very tough loss to the Los Angeles Rams again. Blaine Gabbert starting. Still waiting to see if Carson Palmer is going to be coming back. Larry Fitzgerald did have a big-time touchdown, and Adrian Peterson did not play for them this week, which is he had like a neck injury. So if you have Adrian Peterson on your fantasy team, definitely keep an eye on him. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans to defeat the Arizona Cardinals. And now the next matchup, it is an NFC East showdown featuring the Dallas Cowboys facing the New York Giants, or at Gotham to face the New York Giants. Now the Dallas Cowboys are coming off a huge win on Thursday Night Football over the Washington Redskins. It looks like they got back on track. Alfred Morris had a big-time game with over 120-plus yards and a touchdown. Dak Prescott had a pretty solid game. And Des Bryant had a big-time game. So the Cowboys are still in the wild card race, but again, I don't think they're going to win the East. I think the Eagles have the East on lock. So the only chance the Dallas Cowboys have is the wild card. If they can win the rest of their games and maybe beat Philly close to the regular season, and we're getting closer to Zeke coming back for the Cowboys. So that definitely could help the Cowboys win the wild card, but they have to win out. They have to win the rest of their games just to get into the wild card. So, daunting task for this Cowboys team. Then on the other side, you have the New York Giants, who are coming off a terrible loss to the Oakland Raiders on Sunday, in which they bench their star quarterback Eli Manning for Geno Smith. And if you're a Jets fan, you know when Geno Smith starts, he don't win as much. And if you did not hear, they already fired Ben McAdoo, so McAdoo is done. They fired the GM, he's done, and they're going to stick with their, I think it was their defensive coordinator that's going to be, either the offensive or defensive coordinator is going to be starting as the interim coach, and they gave Eli Manning his starting quarterback job back. So this Giants team is definitely in rebuild mode, and they're just looking to just stick it to their NFC East rival in the Cowboys. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to continue winning and defeat this just terrible New York Giants team. And now the next matchup, and this is a big NFC showdown featuring the Philadelphia Eagles heading to the Coliseum to face the Los Angeles Rams. Now the Philadelphia Eagles are coming off a surprising upset loss on the road to my Seattle Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. Carson Wentz did not have his best game. This was maybe his worst game of the season. Zach Ertz did not play in this game either. Alshon Jeffrey, which they signed for 4 years, did not have his best game. And they just got smothered by the 2/3 of the Legion of Boom in Seattle. Then on the other side, the Los Angeles Rams are coming off a big win over the Arizona Cardinals, in which they guaranteed they're going to have a winning record this season for the first time in years. So I'm very happy to see the Los Angeles Rams doing this. Jared Goff had a big-time game. Robert Woods did not play in this game, again, because of the injury. Todd Gurley had a big-time game, and Alex Ogletree on their defense stuffed Arizona in that game, especially Alex Ogletree, who had a pick six in that game. So coming from me in this huge NFC showdown, man, it's Jared Goff versus Carson Wentz. You got LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi versus Todd Gurley. You got Alshon Jeffrey versus Cooper Kupp. You got so many great matchups in this one matchup, and this is going to be a great match. So coming from me, this one's tough. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to rebound in this game and defeat the Los Angeles Rams in a close matchup. And now the Sunday night matchup, and if you thought the Eagles-Rams game was good, this one's even better because it's an AFC North showdown featuring the Baltimore Ravens heading to Heinz Field to face the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now the Baltimore Ravens are coming off a blowout win at home over the Detroit Lions on Sunday. Joe Flacco had maybe his best game on offense for the first time in months for the Baltimore Ravens. Their Collins did have 2 touchdowns on the ground, and their defense, as always, got it done for them. But this Baltimore team, again, very inconsistent. One week they win, the next week they get blown out. Then on the other side, the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off a big win over the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football tonight. The 3 Bs were in full effect in that game. Drew Brees had 2 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Lev Bell had over 150 plus yards and a receiving touchdown. The 3 Bs were all in effect against the Bengals in that Monday night game. So, and of course they're still, and we're getting closer and closer to that Patriots-Steelers matchup in a couple weeks. So Steelers are continuing to keep pace with my New England Patriots. So coming from me in this matchup on Sunday Night Football, this one's going to be good because these two teams hate each other. And they're always low scoring, for sure. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to defeat a very good Baltimore Ravens team in a close matchup. And now the Monday night matchup that goes against, of course, Monday Night Raw is an AFC East showdown featuring my New England Patriots hitting to the Hard Rock Stadium to face the Miami Dolphins. Now the New England Patriots coming off a big win over the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. Tom Brady did not have his best game because he did not throw a touchdown. He threw 1 pick, but when you're as great as Tom Brady is, he doesn't always have to throw touchdowns. He can get it done with just passing the ball and giving it to his running back. Rex Burkhead had 2 touchdowns in that game, so the running game is there. Rob Gronkowski had a big-time game of over 100 yards, but also in this game against Miami, Rob Gronkowski is not going to be playing. He is suspended for 1 game after the vicious elbow to the back of the defenseless player of Buffalo in that game, which again, coming from me, I would have taken him. 1 game really wasn't enough. Coming from me, I thought it was going to be at least 2 games after that because he just put all his weight into his elbow and hit that defenseless Buffalo Bills player in the back of the head. I mean, 1 game, NFL, really? That should have been at least 2 games plus coming from me. But again, even without Gronk, we have so many other weapons. We have Brandon Cooks. We have Danny Amendola. Hopefully Chris Hogan will be able to play. We got Philip Dorsett. We have all those great running games. And this defense has definitely been stepping up for the New England Patriots. And then on the other side, the Miami Dolphins are coming off a big win over the lowly Denver Broncos. And Jay Cutler started. Just, again, 2 touchdowns, also 2 picks. So that tells you enough. But again, when they start Jay Cutler, I think you already know what I'm gonna say. Ship his ass out, stick with Matt Moore, and go into next season with Ryan Tannehill. Now, if you remember the start of the regular season, one of their wide receivers, I think it was Jarvis Landry, said we're gonna sweep the New England Patriots. Now, they played each other twice. Patriots are up 2-0 on the Dolphins. Now, if New England wins here, we sweep the Dolphins, and Jarvis Landry, if that happens, you're going to make the list of dangerously next week. So you better hope they get it done. But coming from me in this matchup on Monday Night Football, you already know I'm taking my New England Patriots to defeat the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football. And those are my Week 14 NFL predictions. I hope you guys did enjoy this week's NFL predictions. Comment below, who do you have winning all the matchups in Week 14? As always, represent your teams in the comment section, representing your picks. And as always, represent your opinions on this week's Week 14. As always, let's have a conversation about it. Of course, I am always on to see your comment, like it, and of course, reply right back to you. Because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching this week's NFL predictions this evening. Now, before you go, you can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. Of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous lines. And I will see you guys Monday for 2 big wrestling predictions, and on Tuesday for my Week 15 NFL predictions. Later days, and peace.